Hello and welcome back, adventurers. Today on our journey, we will be exploring the five senses grounding skill. And if you're just tuning in for the first time today, we are in the process of going through a magical dungeon adventure where we work on practicing coping skills in order to solve problems and solve puzzles in our search for treasure. This is an example of what we would do in our game called Questing for Change. Um, and I wanted to share a little bit of it for all of you to see kind of what it is. If you don't know who I am, my name is Linnea C., and I'm the director of Children's Services at Lilybrook in Troy. And I run these groups regularly in the fall through the spring. Our summers are a little bit different. We do some different groups. This summer we have a Learn to Play group. If you'd like to join us, you can learn how to play all of these different games. But for now, we are going to work on our coping skills. Last time we had worked on our rainbow grounding skills, where you had to find something in every color of the rainbow and stick to the color red so that you could safely traverse a path of many colors. And today we are going to be working on our five senses, or with our five senses, like I said. Now, the five senses grounding skill goes through using all of your senses: sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste, to help you ground or become calm when you're having a rough time or something has become very overwhelming for you. So in order to do that, I'm going to take you back to where you left off in our dungeon space, which is you'd crossed the room and you'd opened the door marked with a red rainbow, and on the other side of that door, you saw a pretty much what looked like an empty room. This might surprise you, as you had walked up to the door, you'd started to hear some sounds that you might have thought were signs of occupation in the room. But instead, there doesn't seem to be anything in the room. As you step forward, you see that there are some symbols that flash in front of you, like they've been brought there by magic, and they are the signs for all of your senses. So you kind of might get the feeling, you and your team, that your senses might be important in this room, and it might be very important to check in with all of them just to make sure that everything is as it seems. As you move into the room and start to explore, you notice that there are different areas that seem to be related to each other. In one area, you hear some tinkly sounds as if someone was playing a tiny little flute. And in another area, you smell the lingering smell of fresh air, which is strange because you are, in fact, in a cave. And you might taste what the air feels like. Please don't lick random rocks or mushrooms. That's probably not a good idea in a dungeon that you don't know where you are. But you can taste how damp the air feels. You run your fingers along the wall, and you can feel that there is rough stone, in some places slightly damp, where there might be some water running down it. And you can see, but not as well as you would hope. As you're running your fingers along the wall, you run into a torch space, and so you're able to light that torch space, and as the light gets brighter, your sight is a little bit more improved. Looking around, you see that the room appears to have lots of different things in it. Far from being empty like you first thought, there are areas where the moss grows thick upon the walls, the water is dripping down from stalactites on the ceiling. It's a very interesting room. There are, in fact, mushrooms, and there are little glowing glowworms that seem to react to the increased light by glowing more brightly on the ceiling. It's a very pleasant room, quite honestly. You're not sure if you want to leave yet. So you're looking around, and you see that there appears to be a small gnome in the corner, just watching you carefully. You almost thought that he was in fact a statue when you first saw him, until you saw his hat twitch when his head turned a little bit. So you walk up to him and you say, "Hello, we're a party of adventurers, and we are trying to find the lost treasure that is rumored to be in this cave." The gnome looks around and says, "Treasure? Why ever would you need to leave this room? There is so much treasure here. And as he waves his hand, you see that some of the room starts to sparkle like gold. Now, this is where you come to your choice. Do you investigate further? Do you trust this gnome? Do you ask more questions? Think about what you would do if you were in this story scenario. Would you be the brave adventurer who questions the gnome more? Would you be the adventurer who is a little more cautious and starts to investigate with all of their senses? The room seems to change slightly around you, and so eventually you need to use all of your senses. And so you start with your sense of touch, and you touch things to make sure that they are solid instead of your fingers sliding through them like they are air. You listen for the tinkly bells that seem to surround the gnome. You look for the signs of light that are glowworms or torches and not the sparkle of gold. You smell where the air smells damp and stale to lead you to around the other side of the door. And you taste the air change as you walk into another corridor, having successfully navigated your way through the trap of the gnome. And that is our adventure for today. Again, to use your five senses grounding skill, you can just concentrate on one thing for each of your senses, or maybe more things for things that you can see and less things for things that you can taste. Any number of things will work, but just concentrate on those, which can help negate some of the anxiety or some of the other responses that you might be having. So I hope you have a wonderful day. If you are interested in learning more about our groups or questing for change at Lilybrook, you can contact us at 248-250-6620, or you can contact us by email at contact@lilybrookcs.com. And I will see you tomorrow for another adventure.